Hi, good morning, welcome back to my channel. I watched a fabulous video this morning by Byron the Vegan Loser, and the title of the video is 5 Things I Hate About Slimming World, a tipsy rant. Loved it. Right, so in reply or in response, I'm going to say 5 things I hate about Slimming World, a sober rant. It's a bit too early in the morning to have had a drink. I think it's about 9 o'clock. Okay, let's fire off with number 1. Joe?
Consultant.
The word consultant. This is not against my consultant or your consultant or any historical consultant I've had. But to me, the understanding of the word consultant is somebody who has way more experience than I have. My nephew is a thoracic consultant in Canberra, Australia, and his training has been 8-9 years to get into that position. I could train, even me, a blind person, I could train as a Slimming World consultant in very little time and gain very little knowledge, but pay my, what is it, 1,600 quid for the franchise? Does that make me an expert in my topic? I hope and pray that our consultants want to know more, are actually fired up and interested. But some of them have a full-time job as well, not all of them. Some of them have a life as well. And some of them, in my experience over 50 years, no bugger all. And certainly not as much as a lot of us who've been around the plan for a long time. So consultant, what would I replace it with? Leader? Group leader? Ideas below in the comments, please. But I think consultant is a strong word that makes it sound like that person standing at the front has a huge expertise from the get-go. Whereas some consultants are people who've just lost a lot of weight, like me or you. Some of them have lost it very quickly. Some of them have tweaked and worked the plan to suit themselves, like we all do on occasions. But then come into a place where I've lost all this weight, now I can make a living helping other people to do the same. And I don't think, although Slimming World have a history of what they call excellent training, I don't think it's enough for the 21st century. So yeah, my first thing is the word consultant. Let's move forward into real time. Number 2, Joe.
Slimmer of the week.
Ooh, this one gets me. I spoke about this in my recent video. Slimmer of the week does not mean slimmer of the week. It means slimmer of the fortnight. The beautiful young woman, I said, had a good loss of about £5 and I had a loss of £1 and I got Slimmer of the Week. This week actually got Slimmer of the Week and she really deserved it. She also got Slimmer of the Month. She's a wonderful inspiration to our group. But we had people in our group this week who had very small gains. Now, if I maintain, I qualify for the Slimmer of the Week next week. If I lose £0.5 pound, I qualify for the Slimmer of the Week next week. If I gain £0.5 pound, which we all know is really easy, it's easy to be on plan and gain £0.5 pound, I don't qualify in that situation. Why can't it be simplified and just kept to the present? If I go into group this week and I lose £1, but the lady at the other side of the room loses £3 and the lady over this side of the room loses £4.5, why can't it be that simple? The lady who's lost the £4.5, provided it's not her first week, they've always excluded that, they only count half of your weight loss on the first week. But if you came into group with a weight loss of £9 on your first week, you can win Slimmer of the Week. It's not written off. But why not just keep it to that week? Keep it simple. That's what I'd like to see. Because there is confusion in the group when somebody like me wins Slimmer of the Week with a £1 loss, when it's just been quoted that somebody over here has a £5 loss. it's never backed up or rarely backed up with an explanation of why that is. So simplify it. The person who's lost the most weight on those scales this week wins Slimmer of the Week. Yeah, number 3.
Raffle.
Oh God, don't get me started on this one. The raffle. Right. We want to attract younger people into the group. Are younger people wholly into raffles? Is it a 21st century thing, or is it a bit of an old lady thing? I'm a bit of an old lady, and I say it's a bit of an old lady thing. In my group, we have a weekly raffle. The prizes are 90% of the time food. It's a meal or a dessert or whatever. It is never a meal I would eat. It's always a Slimming World meal. It has to be vegetarian because they can't bring meat in. They can bring cheese in. They can put yoghurt in the fridge. Why can't they put meat in the fridge? It just seems odd to me. The whole raffle idea is so antiquated. Now, yeah, I'm very opinionated. I do not want to win a Slimming World meal. This week in our group it was dirty fries, which is a recipe from the Slimming World magazine. I've been on Slimming World for years. I don't eat fries. I've never had Slimming World chips. I'm not interested. And the other prize was a dessert, Eton Mess, which I don't want that either because I don't eat fruit and yoghurt. And yeah, okay, Jane, you're not necessarily going to win. I often do, that's the trouble. But I made a decision 3 weeks ago to stop buying raffle tickets because I don't want to win. I've got bento boxes in the boot of the car that I won weeks and weeks and months ago. I never use a bento box. I don't know why I buy raffle tickets to win things. I've won choppers, I've won rice cookers, all of which I give away because I just shouldn't buy raffle. I don't buy a lottery ticket, so why do I buy a raffle ticket? I kind of get the point of the raffle, but then I kind of don't get the point of the raffle because the raffle is to gain cash funds for the social fund. Why do we need a social fund? People say, oh, well, we all go out at Christmas. Well, no thanks, that's not where I choose to spend my social life. I've got a life. Our social fund pays for the tea and coffee. That's the first time I've experienced that in group because when I've gone to group before, the tea and coffee has always been something you dropped 20p, 25p, 30p, whatever in a pot, and then that paid for the tea, coffee and milk. It never used to come out of the raffle money. I think in some groups the certificates are coming out of the raffle money. No. So I made a decision 3 weeks ago that I'm not going to buy raffle tickets anymore because that's not why I go to group. That's no disrespect to my group, that's no disrespect to my consultant. I need to look at what works for me. Now some of you may love the raffle. I know when I've spoken to Shell, some of the raffle prizes in her group have absolutely blown my mind. And I'm sure she's told us about them on her videos. But before this, when I was with Naomi all those years ago, our raffle prize every week was a huge basket of fruit and vegetables, which she had prepared by her local greengrocer. And it was like a 20-25 quid basket of fruit and veg. Yes, I bought a raffle ticket for that because it was good. But it was never about just making money for the social fund. And some people might come back now and say, well, it's not about that in our group. And, you know, somebody from my group might come back and say, well, it's not about that in our group. Well, let's talk about it. Let's talk about, as a group, what do we want from our groups? Do we want raffles, which remind me of little old ladies clubs and social clubs? What has a raffle got to do with losing weight? I just don't get it. I just don't see the point of it. Okay, next.
Blind.
Yeah, very interestingly in Byron's video, he's talking about the fact that he's a vegan and how limited this is on Slimming World. Whereas nowadays, with the advent of plant-based diets, a lot of younger people and all ages are much more interested in basing their health journey on eating as a vegan or eating as a plant-based person. And I get that because I've been a vegan in the past. I found it too difficult for me. I didn't have enough of an understanding. I could have made more effort to understand it. But I went back to Slimming World in 2015 as a vegan. And I wasn't losing very much weight. So then I went to vegetarian, then I went back to being a meat eater. Everybody's journey is different. But Byron's point was there's very little in the plan to encourage and support vegans. Well, I would echo this by saying there's very little in the plan to support and encourage blind people. Because vegans are a minority, blind people are a minority, I think Slimming World get off very lightly with thinking, oh, there won't be many of them, it doesn't really matter. I mean, there is a thing called the Disability Discrimination Act, and I've often thought about how Slimming World will sit with that. Because a lot of the stuff they provide, the information that they provide, is not available in an accessible form. I think I can almost go as far as to say you can now not get the plan in Braille. And for some people, that's the only medium they use, some blind people. You could say, well, don't bother with joining Slimming World if this is going to be a difficulty, but why shouldn't we? I've worked this plan and lost my weight with no access to Lifeline Online, with no access to what people call the Slimming World Bible, with no access to the website. Now, I could go out and spend a few £1,000s on something called JAWS, which is a speech system for my computer, to be able to access these things. But financially, I think that would just be a waste of money. I don't need to do that. But what I would love to see is Slimming World offering these things for people who do need them. I haven't been blind all my life. I can read Braille, but I don't use it properly. I'm not, how can I put it? I don't think like a blind person, I think like a sighted person. And I just accept, I can't drive a car, I can't read a newspaper, can't fly an aeroplane, whatever. I just accept those sort of things as limitations. But in the real world, where it's just coming down to literature and information, a blind person, such as me, should have full access to all of it. And I have fought with Slimming World for years to get their plan on a better format than CDs. I don't even own a CD player. How am I going to play CDs? That's very 20th century. So yeah, I don't think blind people are facilitated at all in Slimming World. But this is the real world. It's not made for blind people, is it? But something as small as Slimming World could be. And finally, Joe?
Church.
When I used to go to church every Sunday, I used to take Joe when he was little, we always had to sit in the same seats. It was a big church I went to, but everybody sat in the same seat. And you were really frowned upon if you sat in their seat. I mean, these are Christians, let's remember. These are Christians, but if you sat in their seat, well, they didn't hesitate to tell you, you're sitting in my seat. I actually wanted to sit in God's seat. We didn't seem to have one. Anyway, I'm off on one now. When I go to Slimming World, that room is full of really lovely people. And quite a few of them I would like to have a chat with before group. But everybody sits in the same seat. And I'm learning now who people are by where they sit, so that's one use. But I find it strange that we do that. Is that a sort of human thing? Is it a safety thing? Is it a security thing? Or is it just that we think we have to do it? It's nice because there is another lady in group who I've wanted to chat with and get to know, who now sits closer to me. And I've had an experience to actually speak to her, which I've loved. But there are people over there who I would love to chat with. Now, you could say, well, just get up and move. Not easy when you're blind. But it's also just, we're like sheep, aren't we? Is it just that human thing of security? Or is it just my group's different to yours? But I find it really strange that we all feel that we need to come into group and sit in the same seat. This may not be a problem to you, this may not be a thing in your group, but I'm sharing my observations. Anyway, I'm going to say thanks, Byron, for kicking this off, and I'm also going to say, anybody else who watches this, who is a YouTuber talking about Slimming World, come up with your ideas. Not because we're going to knock Slimming World, but we're all sharing our individual experiences. Image therapy is about individual motivation and group experience. Individual motivation comes first. What is it about our groups that we could improve upon? What is it about our groups that we could add to? I'm going to go back to the raffle because I was just saying to Joe a little while ago, if I had a group, which I never won, I wouldn't be interested in that kind of position. But if I had a group and I was a consultant, I would scrap the weekly raffle. I would have a monthly raffle, but I would say to people, you know, buy your raffle tickets every week, 50 pence a ticket, whatever you want to price it at. But we will draw this raffle on the last meeting of the month, and you will win, let's say, something like a 6 or 12 week countdown, or £25 to spend at the Slimming World shop. So the money stays within Slimming World. It's not like, oh, I'm going to go out and I'm going to buy you a £25 Marks voucher or something. The money would still circulate within Slimming World, but it doesn't have to be something. You know, when you get to my age and you're in your mid to late 60s, you don't need bento boxes or choppers or whatever. We've got all that sort of stuff, haven't we, most of us? And there aren't young people in my group who want to win these things. And as far as the meals are concerned, I'm sorry, but I don't do what most people would call Slimming World meals. I eat proper food. And I know a lot of what people cook could be considered proper food. But the meal that Byron described as a vegan meal on Slimming World actually had me laughing out loud. Go watch it. It's a very good video. Okay, see you Saturday. Bye.